A shout out to our podcast sponsor, sportsponsorship.co.uk. If you or your business are interested in making a real difference to the Scottish game, supporting hundreds of kids into regular football, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk and they'll find the right fit for your brand. Welcome along, listeners, to Tinpot on Tour. This is episode 4 of our Friday series, our sort of shorter episodes. Welcome for half an hour of football nonsense with the usual suspects. I'm Tom, your host, and we've got Andrew and Matthew here recording on Thursday evening. Just after. Howdy. Oh, yes. Howdy. Just after the Rangers have sadly been beaten. We've off camera been chatting about that. About the miserable display of football at Ibrox, but we won't get into that this ep. Lined up tonight, we are going to be discussing international football, strangely. We're going to just be generally talking about international friendlies, international football, the international breaks that we get. So that is the big sort of debate or talking point for tonight. We're going to also launch a sort of new quiz format later in the episode. And yeah, I think that's...
Preview.
Oh, yes, our preview. Thank you, Matthew, yeah. We're going to also preview a game each that's coming up this weekend and sort of make a prediction as to what we think is going to happen. And we've not discussed this. I'm just going to chuck it at you live. We could do a sort of Super 6 style scoreboard for that, I think.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, thank you. 3 points for a correct score and 1 point for a correct result. We'll just keep a sort of leaderboard.
A prize pot like in Super 6, maybe like £10 or something like that.
Can't quite stretch to the million because the sponsors are a bit tight with the old purse strings, but we could put something in the lane. Anyway, I've rambled on for far too long in this intro. I've not even asked you boys how you are. What's been going on?
Oh mate, I'm
what's
a
going on,
nightmare. My car had MOT, it failed it miserably. Some nonsense about the catalytic converter or something. I was just like, whatever. I was like, I've taken the car previously to like a few garages around the city, so I'm thinking the car must be shite. I'm not getting conned by every single garage in like Dunfermline telling me like they're trying to screw me out of money. They just think the car's pish, so I've had to shell out a bit of money for that. And I've got some euros that I want to convert back to pounds. But do you know it's a total joke? If you got like a certain amount of euros, you get ripped off for that as well. So I'm having a bad time of it.
What do you mean you get ripped off for it?
Well, if you're like selling back euros to pounds, like the rate's shocking. You know, you get like fucking you lose money. Yeah. Why can't they just give you £1 for €1? I don't understand. I'm just wanting some pounds here.
The world economy would crash. I think if every currency is just worth the same.
I just want exactly the amount of money that I've got, but in pounds. So you take all
you
my
come
euros.
back from Thailand with like £1 billion baht, and you're like, yeah, I want £1 billion, please.
No, listen, it's relatively close like that. Just I'll give you my euros, and you give me the exact same money. So you've given me the money, and I'll give you the exact same money back. So it's a win-win. But unfortunately, I'm getting screwed out of that as well. So just
what about when you're doing it the other way and you want euros and it's like 1.07?
I don't mind.
You're actually expecting 107 for your 100. You'd be upset if they gave you 100, wouldn't you?
No, because I'm giving them £100. I'm giving £100. And I'm getting €100. I've got the exact same money. So that's how it should work.
To have a lesson on money and economics tonight, but
so there you go. Everyone's out to get me. It seems the post office and garages around the city. So
yeah, Mr. Bates has had enough on his plate over the last few years.
Leave it out.
You giving him shit. Is it a silly question to ask you how you are, Andrew? I know you're pretty miffed about the football, but otherwise you well?
Yeah, won't go into that dirty rant. But good. I'm actually pretty good. Nothing really massively exciting to report, to be fair. I've just been very busy with work. I was at my niece's first birthday party tonight, so I was trying to get up the road to watch football, but wish I'd maybe stayed on a wee bit longer. But nothing really that exciting going on for me. I do have an MOT coming up as well, and I know gonna need brake pads, new back tyres, and all that kind of thing. So
no wonder where you bloody drive, mate. You're razzing it all the time
since you ban. So yeah, got that scary build to come up, I think, in October. So I feel you, mate. I feel you. You can give me some tips on the dodgy dealer garages in Dunfermline to avoid, you know,
all the big names, mate. Take it to some like dodgy industrial estate, and some guy. That's where you probably get a good deal. Everyone else is a total fucking scam artist. Oh, you got this and that wrong with it, this and that. You can tell a mug like me a mile off. This guy knows nothing about cars. Or just fucking make up some shit, charge him 100% whatever markup, and then just fucking send him on his way.
The Tom round as well, maybe to be like that guy Dom from BBC, you know, the bald guy. He'd be like, excuse me, I believe you failed Matthew's MOT. Do you want to talk about it? You're going to have a failing MOTs, don't you, Dr. Smith? Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah.
What does MOT stand for? I was thinking about that. Motor...
Yeah, that's one thing Thomas could ask. You could just go around and be like, do you know what an MOT stands for, do you? Actually, Tom,
couldn't bloody spell MOT.
Backwards, isn't it? Right. So maybe it's meant to be.
Yeah,
there's like a viewing area as well, like in the garage I was at. I don't know if that's common, where you can just like watch through a window as the man like does the MOT to like make sure they're not like smashing things up. I don't think you're meant
to stay.
He's there for 6 hours, just milking the free tea and coffee.
12 o'clock. Right, okay. Let me have a look and see what you're up to.
There's like a window in it. Like, why are there a viewing area? Who's hanging about for that, eh?
Imagine you had that in other like workplaces, eh? Like just like a guy standing watching you. Yeah. Can't think of any other examples where that actually happens.
It's like someone's in your house, like fitting your boiler, and you just stand over them the whole time, just watching what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of chatting to them about like, also that part there, oh yeah.
Well, you're not even chatting to them. You just got a screen in front of you. Incredible. Good stuff.
Then we're going delirious.
And what you been doing this time, mate? Watching the mighty United.
Oh, mate, it's polar opposite of Andrew's feelings about his football club right now.
Fans are turning on Big Jimmy. They were singing "Get Him Sacked" in the morning. Did you see that video? Like,
I didn't need to see the video. I saw it in person. It was it was a good trip to Tannadice. It was it was surprisingly early for me. It was about 45 minutes before kickoff, which I would never normally do. But yeah, in for a little macaroni pie and a Coke Zero, which was £6.80. Not even, don't do like a meal deal in that place. It's $3.40. It was actually more expensive for the Coke Zero than it was for the pie, which I find
was it from a dispenser, or was it someone just pouring a bottle of 2 litre Coke into like a cup? They used to do that. They used to do that at the Rovers, just like come out a big bottle of Coke, they just like pour it into
like you're at like a kids party.
Freeway cola from Lidl. Not even branded.
Any cheers thrown at the game this weekend?
Well, actually, this is a good point. It wasn't your fan, so it's fine.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a Dons fan. Nah, but there is a video which I'll share with you both of a guy who me and James were right down the far end of the Dode Fox stand, right next to the shed, and there was an Aberdeen fan front row there on his own, and he's gone viral on all the socials. We didn't know he would at the time because we were just like watching him. It must be 25 metres from us. And he was going mental, and not just like an angry fan. He must have been either hammered or on something, because he was going, like, his gesturing was hilarious. And because we're so close, at times it was quite quiet, and you could hear like everyone in our wee section laughing. It was excellent.
He was going mad at Big Jim and the players, or
everything. At United players, ref, at his own players. Like, just it was fantastic. So I'll send that after we're finished.
That makes a game, though, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
Just when you get like these wee characters in the stadium, like that, just makes it all the sweeter.
No, it was good. Stuart Armstrong looked pretty tasty, and he looked pretty good, eh? Who's our best player?
I don't know about that. He definitely still got the quality, but it's getting the ball in positions too often and just bouncing it back or putting sideways passes. But don't want to get into the depth of the football too much because it's a short episode. But just really, really excited by us. We look to have come on leaps and bounds, even though our squad's been overhauled. It was such a comfortable night. Never once really felt threatened. Jim changed things when he needed to, controlled the game. It was brilliant. And we like Panucci Kamara, unbelievable. I don't know how we've managed to secure him, but
what a job Big Jim's done. Like, seemed to get some camaraderie with all these sort of nationalities. They seem to have a good bond already.
That's really
I
true.
wonder
Yeah.
how he does it. Like, does he take them cold water swimming or
Maybe down the bowling.
go karting, climbing
Yeah,
up a
maybe
mountain?
bowling. Yeah.
I mean, how many translators must there be in that changing room? Like, I mean, there must be like a
It's
big,
a good
big
point,
squad of them.
actually. Yeah.
Nah, Jim's a polyglot, mate. He's got everything.
Easy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't know, but I just he gives me that
But it's
vibe.
great. Jim Goodwin is a good manager who was unfairly treated by Aberdeen, and he's getting it right up them again, which is always nice.
He's getting a good win, isn't he?
I tell you, he's getting
Yeah,
lots of good wins. A Derby win, and then a draw away at Easter Road, which we probably should have won, and then beating Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And so good. We're riding on the crest of a wave at the minute. We've got Kilmarnock at the weekend to get our revenge from getting kicked out of the cup at home. So yeah, fingers crossed for that.
Beautiful.
But moving away from domestic club football onto a bit of a strange topic, considering there's not an international break just now, but it's just something that we all agreed was worth a bit of a discussion or a bit of a debate. So, international breaks. They are used now for Nations League, for qualifiers, and that's it. There used to be friendlies mixed into that. There's loads of people recently who are so like the club first and country second that don't like international football, saying scrap it. They should change the way that it works so it doesn't interrupt the season as much, especially so early after players are just getting a bit of momentum with their clubs. So just wanted to get your thoughts on, is the international setup right just now with the sort of amount of fixtures, the Nations League, the qualifiers, when those games actually happen, with the sort of 4 international breaks that we have during the season? Is that right, or would you do something different? Matthew, what do you think?
I like the format of the tie. I mean, obviously it is a bit strange when you have like a season, it's like 4 games, and then you have to sort of curtail that to do international football. But I think it works quite well. The 3 quick breaks in the sort of autumn months. I don't mind it. Sometimes it can be a bit boring if Scotland don't have any sort of meaningful games. You're sort of itching for the league season to start. But being a fan of a lower league club, you don't. Most often than not, you've still got a game. So I get a best of both worlds being a Rovers fan. Come on, never get promoted, Rovers. A, you'd have to change your pitch to grass, and B, your games would be postponed.
C, there's no VAR.
C, there's no VAR. Yeah,
It's the dreamland, the
I know,
championship.
Championship, I know. Maybe get relegated on purpose, Rangers, so they can have some good times.
Yeah.
But no,
Absolutely.
I don't mind. And the Nations League, I think, has been a really positive thing, especially for Scotland. You've seen us have routes to qualify for tournaments, and we've played really well and got promoted, and then been, played big teams and put up a good fight against high quality opposition. The crowds have been buzzing for it, so yeah, I'm all for the Nations League, and I don't mind internationals, and we all love Scotland, don't we? You'd like to think so.
Well, you'd hope so, yeah.
You'd
Some
hope so,
fans
so
choose to support other teams, but we won't digress into that. You're saying there that you quite enjoy it when, as long as Scotland don't have a meaningless game, but I think the whole point of the Nations League is there is no such thing now really as a meaningless game, unless obviously you already can't qualify for the tournament, and it's like the
We had
last
those
game of the
weird
thing. But
summer friendlies against Iceland and Liechtenstein that were pointless. I don't understand the point.
yeah, you
of
still
the
do
summer
get
friendlies.
a few friendlies occasionally. So you're thinking you don't really understand them, so you just would
Yeah,
scrap
well,
international friendlies altogether?
Maybe the summer ones. I mean, why must we have players meeting for friendlies in June? Was it they played, or July?
June, yeah.
Was it June when the season's just finished and there's no international games until September? They could just go away to a training camp and have a walk in a warm climate, to bond further.
So you don't think there's anything to be learned from like doing those games? And
The only thing that was happening with those games in June was the sour atmosphere after the Iceland game. That was the main takeaway from it. It wasn't a worthwhile excursion. You can maybe see some players that he doesn't quite know very well. So he played Miller in the Liechtenstein game, but then he stuck with that. So that when that guy played Slicker, was that game? Jesus wept.
Yeah.
That was grim. Like those ones for me, like just get rid of them. Just play some behind
so
closed
there's
doors.
sometimes friendlies as well, though, that you've seen. We've obviously taken on the likes of France and Netherlands and England and teams like that. When there's been depends on how many teams are in your group for Nations League or for qualifying groups, that sometimes you fall in an empty game week and they fill it with a... So do you think friendlies like that are worthwhile?
Nah, if it's going to be a friend like that, it should be some sort of like exhibition where Scotland play like a bunch of sort of older Scottish players, the current team versus the team, like a charity match vibe. That's what it should be, and that'd be fun. Get your Stevie Crawfords in up front, and your Chris
Crawford
Boyd's
today.
playing against the current Scotland team, like a legends match, so to speak. Or
Yeah,
like
that's
maybe a wee seven-a-side
great
tournament at Hampden, so we just sort of play sevens against like the Scotland squad, the under 21s. They all play like a wee tournament. Mix it up a bit. Hey, let's have some banter in these games. Like, get the punters in a wee open training session. They could maybe sell raffle tickets, ice creams. The fans could come on the pitch and maybe play a game as well.
You just want any opportunity to get back on the Hampden turf after your Coca-Cola schools thing that you did about 20 years ago.
When it was in 2004. I won play at your stadium for Coca-Cola. Played at Hampden. Got a tour of Hampden. Got a buffet after, macaroni cheese, very nice. And England lost to France the night before when Zidane scored those 2 goals.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. That is just a pipe dream of mine to get that sort of festival of football happening. So I'll be on the phone to the chief exec.
Is this an idea you've thought through before, or are you just winging this right now? Because it doesn't seem like it's had a lot of thought beforehand.
I think it's a good idea. So sometimes the best ideas just come at you in the spur of the moment.
Okay.
Andrew's
fair
thoughts on that?
I'm not gonna shit on you. I'll let Andrew come in. What's your take generally on international football, the breaks, Nations League, and Matt's idea to try and revamp things?
I like Matt's ideas. I think he's he's a go-getter. He's a city slicker. He's ready to change things up, and maybe that's what they need. At the SFA, just to get some fresh ideas in. I think my overall feeling is there's too many games now. Like, in terms of not just international football, but club football as well. With the introduction of the Club World Cup and obviously the Nations League being a fairly recent addition. Within years, but it's not a sort of traditional tournament. I saying that, I don't mind the Nations League in the sense that it replaces maybe the need for some friendlies, but I think we're at the point we've got so many games that I don't actually really feel there's massive value in the friendlies at all. If I'm being really honest, really honest, I absolutely fucking hate like the international breaks breaking up the season so frequently. So I don't know if they could maybe be condensed into like 2 rather than 4. I know obviously the timing of the breaks would be longer, but it just feels like it would be a little bit less disruptive and maybe would provide a little bit more momentum for, I know there's pros and cons to it, but a bit more momentum to the national side as well, especially if they're doing well, then just to maybe keep flowing through a run of games. But personal feeling is I just feel there are too many games now. You look at, I don't know, look at John Souttar, for example, because, he's a player that I keep an eye on. Very hectic schedule near the end of the season, fighting off injuries, busting a gut to play those friendlies for Scotland. And then he's sort of not quite right, sort of getting into a hectic schedule at, Champions League qualifier level, at the start of the season. No criticism of John Souttar, but I think that's a typical journey for a lot of players that, effectively we're going to see more and more players picking up too many injuries, I reckon, just with the amount of games that are coming through. But putting that aside, I just don't like the disruption of the international friendlies. I don't think they shouldn't happen, but I just think that 4 times a season is pretty excessive.
So if you're that's the argument. People have been saying either condense it into maybe 2 or just have in the seasons between tournaments have almost like a 3-week intensive summer qualification campaign and play your 6 or 8 games in the space of those 3 weeks. Those are the options being thrown about, but I think the risk that comes with that is if you've picked up an injury, no matter where you put those international windows, whether it's 2 or whether it's 1 in the summer, if you're playing more games in that spell and you've got a player out injured, it scuppers your whole qualification campaign. If you've got someone out for 2 games out of your 6 or 8 games in a group, and they come back for the next camp, I think that's
a unusual hypothetical though, really, isn't it? Because I mean, ultimately, you could pick up an injury that'll last any length of time, and could happen at any point during the season. So ultimately, if you broke it into 2 breaks rather than 4 breaks, yes, you might be very unlucky and have someone out injured for the entire break, if you like. But you can be equally as unlucky at club level. Having an injury at the wrong time as well. So someone's got to shoulder the sacrifice, whether it's the national team or whether it's the club. It's just pot luck, really. When it comes to injuries. But I think in terms of momentum, certainly at club level, it's better to gain momentum without having such frequent breaks. But from a national perspective, I would imagine there's more of a positive than a negative to actually maybe especially for someone like Steve Clarke, who builds like quite a sort of club mentality kind of within the particularly the starting 11, but the squad in general. To be able to then get that run of games, should kind of tailor quite well to someone like Steve Clarke. Might not tailor well to all international managers, but I only see it as more of a positive than a negative.
I think the whole club vibe though is when they get together 4 times a season, they're September, October, November, they're a month apart, then you've got 3 months off, and then you've got March. If you do it in 2, they're spending 6 months apart every time they play, so they're together for longer at the time, hypothetically, if you cram it into 2, but you're 6 months apart between camps. And
yeah, that's true.
I think the momentum builds better if you see each other more regularly.
Yeah, that's true. But I suppose the point I'm trying to make is, like, I find it really fucking annoying. So, like, if I could just maybe break it into 2, like, rather than 4, then I wouldn't have to try and sort of make up excuses as to why it's a good idea. Just don't want 4 breaks. So
politicians should do that more often. Just be like, well, I hear your argument, and it's a pretty good argument, but fuck you, because I'm what I want should rule.
I think it's quite okay at the moment because Scotland are pretty decent, so the games are usually quite exciting. We tend to win more than we lose.
Yeah.
We're not as pathetic anymore. So I think there's a sense of anticipation and excitement around these games, so I don't mind them. And I'm a patriot and a true Scotsman, so I enjoy watching the national team.
You've not got any sacrifice though. Like,
I'm currently wearing a kilt
your
with
club
no
games.
pants.
Your club games carry on. Like you're fine. You get the best of both.
Sometimes
worlds.
we have to play in the Challenge Cup. I mean, that's brutal. That's worse than a Scotland friendly, I'll tell you that, mate. Fucking hell. Or the KDM fucking trophy now, like with all the B teams getting battered every week. Pointless nonsense, anyway. But I digress. Friendlies are a bit. I still stick with my summer plan idea of making it like an open day vibe at Hampden, where we all have a bit of laugh and builds the bond between the players and the fans. And I don't mind the international breaks, and that's where I stand with it.
Very good.
Firmly to the one side this time.
You need to also remember the smaller nations, so the likes of
England.
Well, not quite, but yeah, the smaller teams that have these friendlies. So we play Liechtenstein, for example, in a friendly, and I know you can sometimes get those games in qualifiers, but
why do I have to play this team that will easily beat them all?
Opportunities for these players who play at quite a shit level, let's be honest, to play against some of the best in the world, and those are people that are working other jobs in a lot of those cases, and I don't know, not that you should make a footballing decision or a business decision based on that, but
mechanics perhaps.
Yeah,
can't forget these minnows.
You could have the same argument with the New Zealand team of mechanics that came over to play the Club World Cup and got absolutely battered, so nobody wants to see it. Like, it's fine if you can draw a headline from, these teams getting a result, but I mean, realistically, it's...
Yeah, but you're saying that from your perspective as a neutral, not as a fan of one of those. So those teams, those countries, Liechtenstein may be a bad example, I don't know, but they have fans, they have families, they have people that are invested, and just because we don't want to see it because we're used to watching Scotland versus Denmark and it's an exciting, meaningful game for us, that means a lot to those people.
So we should basically just put on games that mean something to somebody somewhere, because
No, that's so. If you listen to my point before, I said like you shouldn't make a business decision or a football decision at this level based on that vibe. I'm just saying you can't forget that there are things like that involved in these decisions. It's not the leading factor. So you've just said like, would you just make decisions based on what people would like to do? No, that's not what I'm saying. But it is a factor for me.
Okay. All right.
Not the most important factor.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better if they played each other then, so they could actually win some games and then had like the League D and stuff? That's more fun than playing a
Yeah, they
team,
do in the Nations League.
Yeah, exactly. So they should just stick to that and just sort of play each other. And like the Faroe Islands can play like Equatorial Guinea. I think they're actually quite good, to be fair. I don't actually know who was it like that San Marino kept playing to try and like win a game. I'm sure they like had loads of games against like a really, really bad team, like, and I think they eventually beat them, did they not?
Probably Liechtenstein, I think.
I think it was like a team from like near like Jamaica or whatever, like around about that area. I'm sure it was like a really.
But there's enough as you said with the Nations League. There's enough like chances for a team like that to actually play some games, you know what I mean, and try and move themselves up the rank. I don't really see what they get out of, apart from a nice wee day for 5,000 fans or whatever it is, you know, to watch them play, I don't know, England or Italy or someone half decent, you know. It's I don't really see the massive benefit of that. And then you're asking these world-class players to not rest throughout the summer and play a bit of a diddy team, you know. I just don't really. There's not enough pros to the cons of it. Like that's I think what my point is.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that I'm a massive lover of friendlies. I think they have their place in football, though, international friendlies. I wouldn't. So Matthew's kind of pinned his flag to the mast. If that's I can't remember the fucking phrase. It's too late. His colours to the mast. He said that he would keep pretty much everything as it is, but add in a bit of a exhibition type match in the summer. What's your, if you had a magic wand, you're what's his name, the big Infantino boy, you're the governor of everything in football. What's your?
Well, mine would be pretty simple. So if we didn't have the Nations League, I totally see such value to putting on these friendlies. Like I totally agree with that. At the moment, I feel there's too many games, like overall, not just in terms of the national setup, but just too many games overall. And so now I feel that introducing a competition like the Nations League, it diminishes the reasons to have the friendlies. So for me, I would scrap the friendlies personally. You know, one here or there, you know, every once in a while or whatever, every couple of years or something, fine. Like a glamour friendly or whatever, fair enough. But but to be honest, I would more go down that route, and and unless it changes that, you know, we don't end up with too many games, like, and ultimately then, you know, that changes things. But that's where I feel, you know, at the moment the Nations League gives you enough, you know, extra, and they're good games, and they've been good for Scotland, and they've been beneficial to the whole country, you know, in terms of the coefficient and everything else. Like, it's a fantastic thing to be introduced. I just think friendlies could go, and also, if I could make one last change, it would just be to condense the games into 2 breaks rather than 4.
Yeah.
I just feel the benefits of that from international level and club level outweigh, in my head, and it's totally understandable to disagree with that. I feel the benefits outweigh the negatives there, personally.
Surely, Andrew, you want the break though, so you can watch a team in blue win a game once in a while, mate.
No,
I don't want to watch a fucking team. It's not royal blue anyway, that's for sure. But yeah, no. But I'd rather, I personally, as a fan who's not a diehard Scotland fan like Tom, you know, who is a bit of an armchair fan when it comes to Scotland, you know, I would prefer to see a bit of momentum, you know, and as a fan that, you know, could make the difference to games selling out, you know, time and time again, those ones that are kind of not fully committed to the Tartan Army or whatever, you know, it's maybe letting them buy into the whole international side a little bit more, so you're getting a little bit more momentum week on week. and like shit, yeah, we've progressed, you know, we're only like, you know, a win away or whatever, you know, it's getting that momentum. But at the moment, you're then having to kind of sit on your hands for a couple of months, and then, you know, excite yourself back up with it. Whereas, you know, for somebody like Tom, that's really easy because you're so invested in it. For me, I'm not. So, you know, it's like, oh fuck, where are we? Like, what are we doing? Like, okay, you know, and it's that kind of momentum would maybe get anyone that's a bit of a sort of, as I said, an armchair Scotland fan a little bit more bought into it.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's sort of hybrid you're proposing, I guess, isn't it? Somewhere between what we've got just now and radically like scrapping the whole thing, like all Nations League and all friendlies, and just do qualifiers. So you're somewhere between the two. I think for me, leave the breaks where they are, leave Nations League as it is, the qualifiers as they are, and the friendlies remain as they are, which is filling in for blank game weeks. They're not chucking in like an extra international break just to put on a game. Scotland tend to, or teams generally tend to, like the June ones, they put friendlies on then because there was the Nations League going on. There is an international game week that week that is just set in the diary. So, and there's a revenue stream behind that as well. There's tickets for people to go and watch the games. So yeah, for me, I'm more than happy with the way it is. But it's a good debate to have because it's on the lips of a lot of people just now, especially
just
at the start of the
as a
season.
final point, San Marino played St Kitts and Nevis last year. They lost both of them, or they drew one and lost one, and they did in fact beat Liechtenstein home and away in the Nations League.
Yeah, I knew they'd done
so
Liechtenstein. Yeah, that was
Big
their
up
first
the
game that they
St.
scored
Kitts
2
and
goals in,
Nevis.
wasn't it?
Big up
the
St.
St. Kitts.
Yeah, big up the Kitts and the Nevis.
I'm surprised that Andrew didn't know all that. He's a big San Marino fan. You should wear your hat next time.
You didn't ask me, you know. So
that's a debate for another week.
Talking about Scotland, not San Marino, but you know, if you want to have a San Marino,
Matt did. You had to go and Google it.
I did.
Exactly. I didn't even have to Google it, but you know, if you want a San Marino kind of quiz off, I'll see you there next week for that. Yeah, no problem at all, mate.
See you there.
There is to know.
San Marino or Stoke, you're two big football and passions.
Yeah, big time, yeah, massively, yeah,
big time.
Huge Stoke fan, so yeah.
Up to Potters.
Up the Graham Potters. Let's get back to domestic action then. We're going to preview a match each that's happening over the weekend. Just a minute or two on each one. So, just quickly tell me the fixtures that each of you have picked.
I've picked Morton versus Ross County.
Morton County in the Championship, Andrew?
I've gone Motherwell Aberdeen.
Motherwell Aberdeen in the Premiership, and I've gone for Cove versus Kelty in League One. So we can work our way up. We'll start in League One if that suits you, gentlemen.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's obviously a bottom of the table clash. Last place at home to second last place, and I don't know. I was looking at it. That's the reason I picked it, is because it feels like sort of 6-7 games into League One that it could be in a lot of different football clubs, like El Sacchio as they call it now. Like if you lose that and you're adrift at the bottom of the league, because the other teams are picking up more points. There's quite a big gap between the bottom two and the rest of the teams. I know it's still early, but a lot of people might think it's El Sacchio, but I don't think it's quite like that, because Tamaware is still quite new at Kelty in his sort of first permanent managerial role, and he's obviously integrated well in that club. He's been there for a while. Hartley's still got loads in the bank at Cove, having won a couple of titles with them, got them promoted. So I don't think it's as extreme as that, but as far as the game goes, for me, Cove are going to be favourites. I think they've got enough. They've got a great record against Kelty, from what I understand. They've unbeaten in their last 9. Kelty have only scored 4 goals this season, really shitty. And Cove have lost. They obviously last season were in the playoffs, weren't they? Failed to go up. But there was a boy they had on loan, was it from Aberdeen? Adam Emsley, who he was like massive in their season last year, got 19 goal involvements, and they don't have him. Megginson's not found form yet this year like he did last year when he was when he won the Golden Boot in League One. So don't think it's going to be a massive score. It's not going to be like a 3-4-1 batter, and it's going to be pretty tight. I would have picked 2-1 Cove. That's my prediction, with a lot of cards. I think both teams have quite a shit disciplinary record this season. So 2-1 to Cove, with maybe a red card and a whole bunch of yellies.
Nice. Feisty.
Tasty, feisty. League One stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot of injuries for Kelty is the only thing I would say as a caveat. So I would expect them to maybe do a bit better second half of the season, providing these sort of big injuries come back. But yeah, it's a dogfight at the moment down there just now. So very, very risky to sort of slip away from the pack. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one.
They're both at Cove haven't won yet, and Kelty have won one, lost 5. To lose 5 games out of 6, it's different if you've got, say, four draws in there or 3 draws. But
yeah,
to be losing as many games,
they are
tricky.
literally having to play teenagers. It's at points, that probably aren't quite ready to be playing at that level. So, as far as I understand, I think the injury sort of record at the moment is unprecedented there. That's why I'd maybe expect a wee bit more sort of togetherness in the second half of the season, but I'm not sure that any of those players are closer to coming back. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, fair prediction.
Over to you, Matthew. What's your championship prediction?
So, Morton versus Ross County, battle of the teams to have not won a game. I'll call it not won a gameo.
Gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha. So Morton 6 draws and 1 defeat to the mighty Rovers, currently sitting 8th. Ross County 3 draws and 4 defeats, sitting in 9th. Obviously, big Tony Dock in at Ross County, yet to win a game. He's had an away draw here and a home defeat to Queen's Park, and a bit of a shambles of a result at the weekend. I mean, it's still quite tight. County can still make a run, go on a run, get second. I mean, I think that's fairly doable. Everyone else will beat everyone else. St Johnstone will win the league at a canter. I think that's how it's going to go. But they have to start winning, so they need to start doing it soon. I'd imagine they've got the highest budget in the league, the way they pay their players to get up north. They've got experience in that team. They brought in Doherty, Gallagher, Clark and Gary Mackay-Stevens. So, I mean, these are experienced players, just aren't doing it for them yet. So, they kept Ronan Hale, who was obviously their best player last season. So, the question is, can Doc get it going? How long is it going to take for him to implement his style of play? They need to start winning soon. I think the league title's gone, but as I say, second is certainly achievable for that county squad. You compare them to St Johnstone, who obviously both teams kept their managers after they both got relegated. But obviously, you just felt that St Johnstone were building something under Valakari, and the fans were excited by the sort of style he was trying to implement, and that's obviously worked wonders this season. And County stuck with Cowie, even though they're on a rotten run. They haven't won since the 1st of March in the league against Kelly. So that's a long time, mate. If my maths is correct, that's like 6 months or something. So the players clearly have no confidence, and the new players have come in and just can't seem to shake it. So they need to get something going. Morton, on the other hand,
Carson signed there as well, hasn't he, Matthew, this week? So
who was it?
Trev Carson, yeah.
Trev Carson signed there, yeah.
Another experienced player, so they have to do something, they have to win. But going to Morton is a tough place to go. Morton have drawn St Johnstone part of this all this season. The problem with Morton is they can't score goals. Joint lowest scores in the league with 5. But they do have the second best defence with 6 conceded. So the goal scoring issues are something that they need to improve on. Eamon Brophy is their striker. He's got 3 goals of their 5 this season. They need support from Adeloy and other midfielders, but they do have a decent squad. I mean, Dougie Emery always builds a solid team, and they're always hard to beat, and they always dig in hard. He's never had them in relegation trouble. They just can't seem to make that step up to the playoffs. They finished 7th in his first season, 5th, 6th. So the question on the Morton fans' lips is, can they go that extra step to get in the playoffs? I was looking at the stats last season. They had the 6th best attack and they finished 6th. So I think scoring goals could win you games in the championship. So if Eamon Brophy can really find some form, then they can certainly help them push up. But anyway, I'm going for a 1-1 draw because that's just the way it's going to go. After all that, I came to the conclusion that it'll be a draw.
Pick them apart, and still the winless run for Doc continues.
Yeah,
at County, right? Fair enough. 1-1. You've gone with Andrew. What's the chat with your game?
Motherwell Aberdeen. We'll call this cell Tulane Tigoyo.
Nice.
interesting one. Both teams are obviously leaking goals. So since excluding the League Cup sort of group sort of situation, whatever, I think Motherwell have conceded 7 and Aberdeen have conceded 8 domestically. So I think it's a both teams to score guarantee almost.
Aberdeen to get their first goal.
I think they will, just because Motherwell, the way Motherwell play, they do leave themselves a bit more open than the teams that they have been playing. Aberdeen have played, I suppose, some kind of decent sides early on. They played Falkirk obviously first, but then they've played Celtic and then Hearts away as well. Which is not easy. Obviously Dundee United away as well. So conceded 2 goals, I think, in each of those games, which are tough ties. Motherwell, I just feel I've got the momentum though. I feel that they are building something good, there. I think the style of football is being welcomed very well by the fans, and I think that they're really pushing to try and sort of get themselves secure into a top 6 place this season. Aberdeen bottom of the table. So for me, based on the momentum and how I feel Aberdeen will react to the pressure, I think that Motherwell will win the game 2-1. And I think if that does happen, I think Tilleen will get sacked. That's what I think will happen.
Oh shit.
Extra point for the sacking this week if that comes in.
Take a wee Mars bar or something.
Take a Mars bar,
Boom,
yeah.
Stick it on the table.
Interesting. Well, there you go. That's your Tinpot expert opinions. Not that we condone gambling in any way, but if you are looking for a flutter, your threefold is Cove Rangers 2, Kelty 1. Is it Morton at home, Matt?
Yeah, Morton at home, yeah.
Yeah, Morton 1, County 1, and Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 1. That's your coupon for the weekend.
Bet
we shall
play now.
We shall discuss all of those games in a similar level of detail once they've been played in our Tuesday episode. Smashing, right. We're ready to treat your ears with a new quiz format. We'll be on sort of Fridays and Tuesdays. We'll be trying out different quiz formats now that Home or Away is done and Andrew has the trophy on his mantle. But this week we're going to do a game of higher or lower, which Andrew has aptly named
Highland or Lowland.
Yeah, Highland and Lowland really has nothing to do with the game itself. It's just a play on words for higher or lower, just to avoid confusion. What we're doing this week is just a game simply of higher or lower. We'll start with you, Andrew, I'll say, and we're going to do stadium capacities this week. We could really do anything. We could do Scotland caps, we could do goals in the Premiership, we could do anything. But we'll start with capacities. So the first one is Balmoral Stadium, home of Cove Rangers, which has a capacity of 2,602. And you've got to tell me, does Recreation Park, the home of Alloa Athletic, have more seats or a higher capacity than Nassau or lower?
12
more.
seats, mate.
Going higher? That is correct. 1 point to you, sir. Well done. Over to you now, Matthew. Recreation Park at, as I said, 3,100. Or New Central Park, the home of Kelty Hearts.
Oh, interesting. It's quite a nice wee ground, eh? Some stands there with some seats, not many rows. I'm gonna go lower.
You are correct. Well done. 2,660. Back to you, Andrew. Stair Park, home of Stranraer.
Stranraer.
More or less than New Central Park.
Not many seats there.
One that I don't actually really know that well.
It's not just seats, I would say. It's just capacity.
Yeah, capacity.
As listed on their website.
I'm gonna say lower.
Lower than Kelty. You are bang wrong. Stranraer Stair Park has 4,178 capacity.
How do they determine the capacity of a stadium with like no seats?
If it's standing, I have no idea how they do that.
They have to get everyone in at one go, like just to get as many people as they can in.
They just basically just grab people in,
and then
come in.
Once it gets too tight, they say, right, that's us.
That's us now, yeah.
Yeah.
That's us. It's a wee bit tight now, lads.
That's too
And
tight,
then
yeah.
Up the road, yeah.
Who bloody knows? It's a good question, actually. If you do know how they determine the capacity of a stadium that has standing places, then write to us, let us know.
Matthew's taken over the SFA now, so that's how we're doing it. So that's it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, yeah, Matthew knows. Right, over to you, Matthew. Stair Park is 4,178. Is Galabank, the home of Annan, higher or lower than that?
Oh, again, that's quite a modernish stadium with some seats and an AstroTurf pitch, so I believe. I will go take a higher.
Higher than Stair Park? You're wrong, unfortunately. It's lower, 2,504.
Shocking.
Down in Annan. So you're both on 1 point each after 2 goes. Back to you, Andrew. Higher or lower than Annan is Borough Briggs in Elgin.
Ooh.
I think higher.
Higher, you are correct. Well done, 4,520.
Oh, decent.
Capacity of Borough Briggs. So it's advantage Andrew at this point, 2-1.
That's a
Back to you,
standing
Matthew.
ground as well, is it?
Yeah, mainly, yeah.
And we should,
Pretty sure it's
we
all
should all
standing,
just be standing, man. Get everyone just standing about.
Yeah, way better.
Like Ryanair
That's
getting
it.
on the planes.
Put that in your SFA
Whoa.
manifesto.
The Manifesto. I saw a video of the boy, he was away with Southampton at Anfield, and there was loads of people sitting down around him, and he was going mental. Being like, you're at an away game, why are you sitting down?
Let's play half time or something, eh?
It's a good good debate to have. If you're able to stand and can stand for a game as an away fan, should you? We'll get to that
I
another
can't
day.
see if people stand. I can't see nothing. I say, Dad, put me on your shoulders as you're 34 years old, son.
You can go on my shoulders anytime you want. No problem.
Thanks.
Good.
You're not very tall, so we're the same height.
Borough Briggs, Matthew, 4,520. Does Station Park in Forfar have more or less?
Ooh, been there. Nice stadium.
The old
Good Bridie.
Bridies.
Yeah. Again, standing. I'm going to say more. There's a big
You'd
stand.
be correct. Well done. 6,777.
Decent.
Well done. So it's 2-2. Scores are tied. Back to you, Andrew. Broadwood, home of this season Accies, but historically Clyde. Does that have more or less than Station Park?
It's a good question because it's a lot of seats there.
Yeah, it does. Modern.
I'm just thinking
ish.
of the capacities of some other stadiums that I know, which I would instantly say. I think I'm going to actually say it's lower, or lowland, as we should say.
Lowland. Lowland is sadly incorrect. It's 8,086 at Broadwood.
He got you there.
Matthew, a chance to go one up here and make it 3-2. St Mirren Park, more or less than Broadwood.
The St Mirren play at?
Yep, more or less.
Has to have
Or the
10,000
Smith
to be.
Stadium.
Has to have 10,000 to be in the Premier League, or is that like 20 years ago that was a rule? Remember that? I'll go higher. Highland.
Highland is incorrect. It's 7,937 reportedly.
Yeah.
Clyde
yeah,
have more
I knew that one.
fucking seats
Now
than
that you've-
St Mirren. That's a joke. St Mirren, get yourself sorted. That's Tinpot. That's
I
nonsense.
knew that one. It was under 8,000.
That's pathetic. Build a bigger stand, idiots.
I've just had to Google that just to check, but yeah, it's.
What was Love
it's-
Street like? That was a beast
correct.
stadium, and that had a big, massive stand at Love Street. Like, boy, just
Yeah.
got no fans. That's why they built a small stadium.
Can't
eh?
remember France.
You got no fans.
You fucked up your opportunity to go in the lead. It's still 2-2, and it's back to
Damn.
Andrew. Gayfield, Andrew. Higher or lower than St Mirren Park? Lovely noises of Matthew drinking his beverage there. Thank you for that. It's like ASMR.
Kill this silence.
I
It's-
think
This game was supposed to have less silence.
No. It's Andrew
I'm going
Gay.
to say higher.
Higher at Gayfield, you are incorrect, unfortunately. 6,600 at Gayfield. So, Matthew, for the win, or it could go to a tiebreak. The Excelsior, home of Airdrieonians, is that higher or lower than Gayfield at 6,600?
Higher.
He's gone straight in, and he's correct. Well done. 10,101.
10,000.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the Excelsior, apparently.
I knew it looked like a decent size, but I mean, that's some
Impressive.
figure. Well done, Matt.
Yeah, well, there you go. 3-2 is the final score, I think, and it's the first time he's won anything on the podcast. So well done.
Feels good. Yeah. Sorry, St.
Well
Mirren
deserved.
fans as well for slagging you off your stadium. Like that was just a heat of the moment thing. I was a bit upset. I got it wrong. I was upset.
You're
That's all.
pissing everyone off.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Let us know how you got on at home doing that. Did you manage to get more than these guys? I know if you're listening at home, you'd probably be answering all 10, but divided by.
Let's know the
just divided
standing
by
debate.
2.
Should we have more standing areas in Scottish football? Because does it create a better atmosphere? You can cram more folk in at a safe distance. That's what.
Yeah.
But we
Bring
do
back safe standing.
Yeah.
Or unsafe
only
standing.
for people
To an
that are.
Or not.
And you have to organise it in a row so the person in front of you is smaller, so everyone can see. So.
That's how you get allocated a ticket.
Like
Another thing to put in your manifesto.
Put your height in.
You have like a little height thing like for roller
You have to
coasters,
tell the truth,
and then you
yeah.
either get put to the front or
It's like organising a group photo, isn't
Exactly.
it? Yeah, small people at the front.
yeah.
Exactly.
Short kings, as we're known.
Well,
Right.
I like this. I like it.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, come Tuesday's ep, Matt, we expect the manifesto to have grown.
So far, it's
shape
instead
properly.
of friendlies, just play like exhibition games that have done sort of the Legends vibe. You know that they used to play that like on they used to play on Sky Sports. That was class.
Yeah.
That tournament, that was so good.
Exactly.
That's what they should do instead of friendlies. That was so good. Bring it back.
I think we should have a segment on Tinpot on tour where Matthew just adds to his manifesto every week.
Excellent. I'll write that down. That is
Do that as like a
mainstay.
wrap up. Yeah.
Fab. Well, yeah, we've got 3 things to get it kick-started, and we'll write those down and we'll add to it every week. So stay tuned on our Friday releases, Tinpot on Tour, to hear more from Matthew's manifesto. Until then, we'll be back again on Tuesday. Have a tremendous weekend. Anything from you boys before we go?
No, I'm just taking over the SFA, so you better watch out. Doncaster, if you're still there. Is he still there?
Doncaster.
Yeah, he's still there, yeah.
You better watch it, Doncaster. I'm going for you, son.
Good closing message. Lovely. Cheers, bye.
Bye.